You're like,
Hey everyone, welcome to Slow News Day Live. My name's Steve Voikinen. I'm here in the Santa Cruz Mountains, but only for a little while longer. I am joined by my better than your co-host, Glory Jones. What's happening, Glory? How you doing?
They got Man United fans for protesting today.
Right. Good
It's my
on you.
team. That's my team.
That's my team too. I'm so
Oh no,
proud
Glory's
of them right now.
Glory's like a fucking warrior, dude. She'll wreck anyone talking shit on Man U. It's hilarious. It really is. It really
Me and
is.
you get fine, Glory.
So holy crap, man. We are very fortunate, dude. Okay, let me just first of all say this is episode 301 of this show. And it wouldn't be possible without the people watching the show. But holy crap, dude, these two guys here like have kept me sane at different times, like when I really needed it. So it is my distinct pleasure to welcome back to the program Gordon Dimmack and Juan Passarelli. Holy fuck, dude, how you doing? Love to have both of you. And Sleepy
It's a
Josh
pleasure.
told me that I don't get to hog you as my man crush, George or Gordon. I can't do that anymore. You can't be my man crush anymore because Sleepy Josh is gonna fight me for you.
No, it's because you already have Johnny Vedmore too.
Hey, that he has pledged himself to me. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a free agent. All right.
Wow,
Okay.
you're gonna do Johnny like that? Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Now that we've made it weird,
Okay.
Juan, you've been in Berlin for a little bit now, and I know that you were working on a documentary. I don't know if you can talk about that, but I would like to hear about what you've been up to a little bit lately. And then you and Gordon have a fuck ton of overlap in terms of time spent at the Old Bailey, a number of things surrounding Julian's case too, which with the arrest of David Morales trying to flee Spain might be taking a turn for the better. So I'd love to talk about that a little bit.
Well, I'm in Berlin. Yes, I'm working on still a secret project, but it's obviously about Assange because I wouldn't be doing anything else apart from doing something that what I think is my best use of time to try to help get my friend out of jail and by the way, also save democracy as we know it. So not a big one. But I mean, yes, it's been a couple of very weird months because it's slow news. We're waiting for the High Court. We're waiting for the High Court to see if they're going to agree to receive the appeal of the United States under health grounds, which I find very interesting because they're going to debate that Julian is not a suicide risk. And at the same time, there was this Meghan and what's his name? Prince Harry interview with Oprah. And there's this very annoying guy in, I think it's Sky, who said that Meghan is faking having suicide thoughts. And he got fired for that.
Piers Morgan or whatever.
Morgan, that bloody guy,
fucking shitbird. Sorry.
You saying the royal family is a racist institution? Yeah.
Yeah, I find it insane that somebody gets fired for just saying that girl does not have suicidal thoughts, and then the United States is actually using that same argument to try to appeal a ridiculous fucking case, which is to try to bring Julian Assange in for 175 years for exposing their war crimes. So yeah, I found that interesting. So apart from that, I haven't been doing much, day-to-day movie making, and trying to really get, to squeeze the story and to widen the audience as much as possible. And if we do the job right, I think it might actually have some political impact.
I mean, that's fantastic, and I hope the best for the project. The widening of the lens, we were talking about that a little bit before we got going, and I feel like that's kind of critical right now. Kevin Gostola and I were talking some months ago about the appeal process, and Gordon, maybe you know a little bit more about this, but it was Kevin's interpretation that potentially the U.S. could just file meritless appeal after meritless appeal, and that the high court would have to hear each and then determine to proceed based on, the grounds of merit. And then that could be a way to just keep Julian incarcerated. Do you my understanding of the UK legal system is based off of conversations with Mohammed Almazi, because he's well versed in that, but I have all of these shows and basically a blackout, so it takes a long time for me to remember the information that I've received during these. What's your take on that?
As far as I'm aware, they're right. They can just keep filing appeal after appeal after appeal. But my argument against that, Steve, is what do you do with Julian in that time? I mean, you just keep him in jail. You just keep him in our Guantanamo Bay forever, in purgatory like that, not having ever really, we've had a court case that says the United States incarceration system is so draconian that to extradite him over there is a death sentence. And to that, I mean, how are you going to fight that? That's the decision that the magistrate made. Now, you can argue as to why they've said that, and etc. But how are you going to fight that? I mean, wasn't it, how long ago was it that Jeffrey Epstein, quote, committed suicide? It's like, this is a death sentence if he goes there. We know this. Everybody in the whole world knows this. The legal system, for me, it's like, I don't believe that that's where his fight is going to be won. I believe that his fight is going to be won in the court of public opinion, and this is why what we're doing is so important to get the message out there.
I agree, and I think that the U.S. has no hurry to get him overseas, because that would mean having to actually prosecute a publisher under the Espionage Act, and even though Biden has been extremely bad concerning whistleblowers, I'm not entirely sure he wants to go that far as to, but they definitely want to use the process to punish Julian. This is what they're doing. They've been doing it for 10 years to punish Julian by process and keeping him inside a confined space and reducing his voice, and have his voice be overtaken by the propaganda apparatuses that they have.
Yeah,
so
well,
they're looking at the crimes that they committed, and Julian highlighted, but a man who is simply a man, and
I mean, that's
a monster.
Yeah, that's the way that the decision was left too. Like, it still ultimately left the very same thing open to happen, as long as they don't suffer mentally the way that Julian did in the embassy and in Belmarsh. Like, Vanessa Baratzer agreed with every point made by the prosecution until it came to his mental health and the conditions of the U.S. prison system. So it's like, I can totally see where the Biden and Harris National Security State Administration would just be totally content with where they are now, where they're just like, okay, let this case die, just let this man die in prison, and then in the future we got this precedent. Like, it's
and at the same time as well, what worries me as well with that, Glory, is You know, it's not just them going after journalists now, the Biden administration, they're going after business people. And they're going after business people now around the world for, you know, breaking sanction stuff that has nothing to do with America at all. I mean, the one North Korean guy was sanctioned for selling stuff to North Korea from Malaysia. It's like, this is a North Korean selling stuff to his own country from somewhere else, and America wants to extradite him and face charges because they've implemented sanctions on him. It's like, this is getting worse under Biden, not better.
Well, we knew it would. We knew it would. And we had all of the, I mean, you know, like shows like that fucking Ryan Christian, Last American Vagabond, who will consistently have Whitney on because fuck, Whitney Webb's always right. Like
the worst shit too.
I know, dude. We don't want to be right about this shit. Whitney doesn't want to be right about this shit. But when you have all of the available information, what can you do but report on it, you know? And there's a case coming before the Supreme Court right now where a high school cheerleader was kicked off of her team for talking shit on her coach and her school on Snapchat after school hours. In what was supposed to, like, she put a fucking blast text out to like 200 people. Somebody snitched.
That's every kid in America.
I know.
Right. So her parents sued the school. The school countersued, and now it's in front of the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court decides that a school has the right to control speech outside of school hours, the implications of speech going forward from that case are fucking massive.
That's like 98% of all athletes in America.
Bro, I mean, look, we didn't have cell phones when I was in high school. Yes, shut up, Glory. I know. I know.
Steve, you've got nothing to worry about because Secretary Blinken today said that America will always stand up for human rights abroad and at home. So you don't have to worry about anything to do with human rights or free speech because it's under control.
The fact that most of our communications are on private platforms.
Yes, USA.
Most of our communications, our public forums are actually not public, right? They're private. And Congress has called 3 times this year the CEOs of the main social medias, Google, Facebook, and Twitter, to ask for more censorship. That's 3 times in 4 months. It's fucking scary, especially when we saw the censorship that they did during the pre and post election madness. This is we want the population silent. We want dissent silent. We want our narrative, and that's all we want.
One of my that point.
We're gonna get it unless we keep on speaking.
Let me go ahead and break some news here real quick. About 1 o'clock this morning, my Twitter DM started going off. It was Eva Bartlett and Dean O'Brien, who have both been on the show very recently to talk about what's been going on in Donbass in the Ukraine. Serious shit going on there. And there's also been like massive posturing between the West and Russia in terms of what's going on in the Ukrainian border. And so this happened. Let me go ahead and pull the share screen here. Come on, there you are. This is a Ukrainian Center for Research of Signs of Crimes Against the National Security of Ukraine, Peace, Humanity, and the International Law. Information for law enforcement authorities and special services about pro-Russian terrorists, separatists, mercenaries.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Eva Bartlett, there is a zip file on her. So there's a zip file on her that you can download from here. I have not done that yet because I want to make sure that it's a clean file. But this is happening right now. Eva Bartlett being targeted by the state of Ukraine. So Eva will be joining us tomorrow morning to talk about this, but I mean, she should have an interview with Dean up on her YouTube channel right now. Please go look for that. This is, I mean, this is not just our friend. This is also someone whose work on Palestine, on Syria, on Donbass, on the Ukraine has been so monumentally, like, a massive contribution to our ability to better understand these situations. So obviously we're fairly fucking concerned right now. But please, guys, like, the more people that know about this, the more this is in the public, the easier it will be for other officials in that part of the country to address it. The fact that, like, the West will have this information out right now, vital. So I'm going to drop the link in the Rockfin and in the YouTube chat. Please help get this out. Please, you know, like, let people know what's going on with Eva, and then please, you know, check back in with us tomorrow morning. It'll be 11 o'clock on the East Coast when she's on. And yeah, help us get this out. This is fucked up, and I would like to hear some thoughts from you guys on this.
So what makes her a pro-Russian terrorist then? Telling truth.
Yeah. I mean, she's actually gone to villages in Donbass and filmed and interviewed and told people about what the Western-backed neo-Nazi Ukrainian military is doing, not just in Donbass, but trying to do in Russia in terms of the entire, like, reoccupation of Crimea and all of that kind of shit.
They just did the literal equivalent of putting a fucking target on her back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is what they've done.
Yes. That's why we're.
It's part of a wider psyops operation that the UK is also being very involved in. We recently learned that Reuters and the BBC had a contract with Bellingcat and the I think Department of Defense, and they were the Ministry of Defense, MOD.
It'd be through the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, wouldn't it?
And the idea was to capture what influencers and give them training so that they could understand how to report well on Russian activities. This is absolutely fucking insane, and this is the BBC and Reuters doing that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're part of the psychological warfare that the West has on ridiculous Cold War on Russia. Because why? I really don't understand. They need an enemy.
Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, go ahead, mate.
Well, when the Skripal affair happened, just after that, Theresa May was on record as saying that she was going to clamp down on independent media and social media, and that's obviously how they were going to stamp out the quote fake news. And essentially, what they did when they did that was cut the legs off from underneath me. I mean, you know, in June 2019, I was adding 3,000 subscribers to my YouTube account a month. It was starting to take off. I had a letter from Julian and it flatlined. I couldn't add a subscriber. So whilst they've cut the legs off under me, somebody working in the UK, somebody working hard, somebody who's literally, his mental health has seriously suffered as a result of doing all this over the last few years. They cut the legs off me. They made it difficult for me to even pay my rent. I got rent evictions, all that, all those eviction notices, the lot. They made it so difficult for me to get any help at all. So difficult to even survive whilst doing this. And in the meantime, these same motherfuckers are paying Russians to be pro-Ukraine in fucking on Russian social media. How fucked up is that? That they will through somebody at home who's telling the truth in one hand, pay Russians to tell lies about Ukraine on social media, and then at the same time say, we defend press freedom all around the world.
Oh my God. I hate, that's what this whole case is. That's what this whole psyop is. Is it such an indictment against the West with the image they try to put forth against the world of being the arbiters of freedom and the great protectors of press freedom? Oh, go and cry me a fucking river. We know you don't mean shit, because not only does the administration not give a shit about Julian Assange, but when any of the punk asses in the media get in a room with someone like Jen Psaki, they don't even raise his name in question, and it's disgusting. And it's like the BBC is trying to get Vanessa Beeley killed too, just straight up fucking painting her as a blogger and conspiracy theorist and a member of the Assadist government. I
learned your last name, Chloe. I did.
Hajimetau or something.
Hi, Chloe, if you're listening, can you respond to my email, please?
Chloe's responsible for at least like half of the dislikes on this channel. I guarantee you.
Hey, Chloe, if you're watching this, eat a dick.
Suck Glory's dick, Chloe.
Well, I'll tell you what is something of somewhat of a good news is that the UK has lost so much of its high ground and credibility that even the Russian ambassador on the BBC was able to easily, contradict them on, they're asking about Navalny and are you killing Navalny or torturing Navalny, which is true. But at the same time, what is the UK? I mean, what's the UK role on this? It's exactly the same. For a bail violation, they have somebody in prison. He's already served this time. He's being tortured. We know that because medical experts told us so. Independent medical experts, and they literally just want to kill him in prison. So, what can the UK really do in terms of high ground and say you should free Navalny? No, they've lost it. They've lost it all.
The BBC was interviewing like an actual dictator. And
it's Macedonia, wasn't it? The Macedonia guy over there.
I believe so, yeah.
I think it was the president of Azerbaijan or something.
You guys saw this, right? And he's like, you can't come at me when you've got Julian Assange caged like a fucking animal. Who the hell are you, lady? Get the hell out of here. And she's like, hey, whoa, wait, no, sorry. That's not what we were doing here. I was painting you as the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. when the BBC reporters, which are so trained to be vile and to paint them as dictatorial murderers, and then they can't even defend themselves. They're like that. I know,
bro. If I'm an authoritarian leader, I'm watching that like that fucking meme or something, because it's like, so you're saying I can just engage in authoritarian whataboutism every time? Like, oh fuck, this is great, bro. And it's like every time someone chats shit to me, oh word. So how's Julian Assange doing in prison then? How are those in-prison journalists covering protests in Los Angeles doing? What about what you're doing to Vanessa Beeley and Eva Bartlett? What about those?
This is a really good point, Glory. This is a really good point, because while you're doing this and you're pretending you have the moral authority on the world and saying your shit stinks over there, when actually you're, torturing psychologically a journalist and have been for 10 years, and that's the United Nations special rapporteur on torture, so he should bloody know what he's talking about when he says psychological torture. If you have no higher moral ground on this, what happens? Well, you end up getting dictators around the world thinking, I've got fucking free round now. If America can get away with it and the UK can get away with it, fuck you. And what happens? Bolsonaro's like, fuck you, I'm going to cut the trees down. I don't give a shit. You've got no moral authority over me. Everything that your foreign policy is built on in America is over the almighty dollar and making more money and getting more. Pretty soon you'll be commodifying air, because it's it's the only thing that you can fucking drag some value out of in future to keep this capitalist bang, gang, bang going. So you got Bolsonaro over there saying, fuck you, I'll do whatever I can. I'll cut down trees all over the place to make money. It doesn't matter. You're sending us all into fucking destruction anyway. Why should I care? And you've got it on the ground now with people going, oh, well, you know, Black Lives Matter, but, you know, they're shooting fucking everybody. So who cares? You know, it's an awful. And I was speaking to somebody the other day and they were talking about China, and they were mentioning about, it was global climate change we were talking about, really serious, you know, the most serious, most people will say, subject in the world. And he's saying, well, you know, China are out there and they're increasing their coal and what have you, but and all the other countries, and they're helping other countries increase their coal output. It's like, well, think of it from their point of view. 95% of all the stuff that we've put in the atmosphere has been fucking us and America. We've made all this money over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and we've been holding these other countries back, raping them from their resources, and now we're going to hold them back even more with this, you know, as far as they're concerned, climate change, which they can't fucking see, they can't quantify it, they just think it's another fucking another myth, another weapons of mass destruction coming on. You can understand this. And when you get to this point, when you get to the point where we can't even agree on facts, and we can't even agree what a war crime is and who a war criminal is, it's over. We've got about 10 years and we're fucked.
Like, you expect other countries to be able to take their crime seriously when the ICC even begins to float the idea of holding the US accountable for war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan, which there are videos of. What happens? Mike Pompeo goes out and sanctions literal families of the members of the ICC. And we just expect fucking other countries to fall in line just because of the image that we put out. No, people are seeing through this, and that's what's happening. So now you have despots on this side, and you have despots on this side. So guess what? You have a shit fest of despots. And the people at the end of the day, the 99% are the ones suffering because of it. Because the establishment on both sides wants to play a game of, hey, who can be more of an empire and pretend that they actually give a shit about people, pretend that they actually give a shit about human rights. Well, no one does.
I want to tie all of this into what Gordon was saying about Bolsonaro in the rainforest and climate change, because the same groups that would chastise and castigate Bolsonaro for deforestation, as we should, are being funded by people like Mark Benioff, who is the CEO of Salesforce and owns Time Magazine, and also is in charge of who gets the deep sea mining contracts. Which, by the way, none of those environmental groups are going to say shit about Mark Benioff's deep sea mining projects. That shit is going on almost unnoticed. It's Cory Morningstar, it's us, and a handful of other shows.
It's a very infuriated Glory. Get the fuck out of our oceans.
Glory is like the biggest fucking ocean nerd on the planet, and it is killing all of us to watch her go through the fact that there's deep sea mining. Now, I'm not a scientist, but blowing giant holes in the ocean floor to extract whatever might be in there seems like it might be.
You've got
okay, to be fair, they're not blowing giant holes. They're just putting tons heavy equipment on the ocean floor and raking it across the substrate, producing sediment plumes that are going to choke filter feeders to death.
Steve, I used to work in the oil and gas industry, believe it or not. Up until like 5 or 6 years ago, probably, I quit it and I got to get out of this and do something more constructive with my life. And it was oil drilling, and a lot of stuff that we used to sell, it was all super duplex stuff and super duplex flanges and piping, etc., for deep sea oil drilling in the North Sea. And you know how, like, they say, oh, there's only 25 years of oil left. That's not true at all. There's plenty of oil left for probably hundreds of years. We're not going to run out of it. The reason being is because these companies are like, it's all right. That's just what we've found so far. As technology increases, we can dig deeper into the ocean. And because at the moment, all they can do is dig into, you know, the shelves as it goes up. But as technology increases, they're just going to dig down. They won't be happy until there's one fat cat left with one drilling machine, just taking the Earth's core out of the middle of the fucking planet. It never stops. This ever thirst for more and more resources and more power and more money, it never ever stops. And I remember looking at these people in these meetings thinking, you are going to kill us all and you're going to do it for money, and they're not going to care because they've got first, as Bernie Sanders says, they've got first class seats. They're willing to go down because they'll go down in a very comfortable fashion. It's the rest of us that will go down kicking and screaming.
Mm-hmm. And even once they mine the living shit out of Earth, they're just going to turn to space. I think there's some nickel in an asteroid that's passing by soon. That's
next.
Yep.
That's the next scary one. When they run out of enemies on planet Earth, they'll create one. They're already laying the groundwork. You've seen all the UFO stuff that's coming up recently.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Oh, I talked to my friend Jamal, and he says either it's us or it's not, and I'm not sure which one scares me most.
One.
But if I had to guess,
Blue Beam.
As far as I can tell, now correct me if I'm wrong, these things can only be detected because the technology that the Air Force and whatever you've got now is more advanced, so they can detect these things. However, you can't detect them with the naked eye. That's as I understand it. Now, isn't that beautiful? You've created a monster that nobody can see. They can only see it with your special technology. It just sounds a little bit, I don't quite buy this bullshit, because if you wanted to create an enemy to keep your budget going above $1 trillion, then that would be how you do it, wouldn't it?
So here's, if you remember that, somebody, I can't even remember who, we started a call-in show. I don't know if you guys know that. We have a call-in.
I saw it the other night. It was excellent.
Yeah.
I nearly called it myself.
Pardon?
I nearly called it myself.
Please do. My whole goal with this thing is to be able to deadpan it the entire way through and just like Art Bell my way through the whole thing. So like if it gets hella weird or somebody's calling just to fuck with us, I'm trying to just ride the bit out the whole way. I am. To kind of go back to the thing. One of the callers pointed out to us, and I hadn't even really thought about it. The military budget for the U.S. does not include spending in the Department of Energy, which is where the entirety of our nuclear program lies, which is almost entirely military. So when you combine known budgets with the Department of Energy and the NDAA, I mean, it is well into the trillions. And then there's the black budget.
What was the black hole when the Pentagon was audited?
21 trillion.
21 trillion.
And that was just shy of 20 years ago.
What's the GDP of America? 20 trillion?
22.
So a whole year's worth of transactions just went missing. A whole year's, all the transactions in America in any given year is about 20 trillion, correct? So 21 trillion. So imagine if you're a business, right? And you're going through, I don't know, you go through the 90s, you go through the 2000s, you've made all this money, and then all of a sudden the taxman says, we're going to audit you. And you go, oh, I don't know where all the files went. The dog ate them. I don't know. The whole year for the whole country went missing. That's the equivalent of what the Pentagon lost in one audit. It's like how can you make the entire GDP of a country disappear? And then it's gone down the drain. It's down the back of the sofa. Let me look. What the fuck? And nobody went.
It's
excuse
where all
me.
the NASA files on the moon landing. It's with all
There were
those.
a number of us that were like, hey, wait a fucking minute. Donald Rumsfeld said the day before 9/11, and they went, you shut the fuck up now. And like, we're like, hey, but wait, because this did happen, right? This is why, gentlemen, Glory Jones, everyone fucking listening, I am starting a fucking new show called Memory Hold. And we are specifically going to go through the events in history that we have been forced to fucking forget through the fucking press. This is the whole point of the fucking show. All right. This is happening because it fucking needs to, because pasta, fucking the United States of amnesia. That's where we're fucking at. We don't know our own history as
with the
a group.
expenditure of the Russiagate debacle. I mean, how much did that cost?
Ugh.
The Mueller investigation was just shy of 40 million, I believe. Yeah, 38.7 million just for the Mueller investigation.
And they found how many Russians?
They indicted 13 imaginary Russians. And they got several members of Donald Trump's cabinet for a whole bunch of shit that had nothing to do with Russiagate.
13 Russians for making fake PayPal accounts.
Yeah.
And Russia spent how many billions in Facebook advertising?
$13,000.
Yeah.
They're
very effective. $13,000 to change an election.
Most of the Facebook's posts happened after the election.
Yeah. And what was it that you said about
Jesus meme though? Like it really made me go back in time and change my vote, which I couldn't even vote then because I wasn't even 18. It made me go back in time, age myself 2 years, and then vote for Trump.
Steve, was it you the other day on your show? I was watching it, and you were talking about the K-Hive stuff and the impressions on the K-Hive, all the bots for Kamala Harris or Kamala Riley. Sorry, I'm not racist, honest. I said Kamala. All the bots on the K-Hive, their impressions, just the bots on the K-Hive, were more than the Internet Research Agency. Is that right? The stat that I heard.
That wasn't this show, but I did see that. It might have been Convo Couch that did that. I'm not entirely sure.
It could be.
But I've seen that reporting, and yeah.
I put it to you.
More impressions overall total than the sum total of what the IRA had come up with for the Russian bots.
I was one of the first people to talk about that story, and that story, that Russian bot story, is sort of how I fell into doing this. Because at the time I was an internet marketer and I had 800 bots myself. Yes. I personally had more bots than Russia. And it's like, I know. I had all these 800. I had these 800 fake accounts. Now, they say they're Russian accounts. They're not one. They're not Russian accounts. All it is Russians, because obviously, you've got to look at the way economies work. $50 a day in this country, okay, you're barely above water. But in Russia or Macedonia or Eastern Europe, if you're making $50, $100 a day, you're living like a king, aren't you, man? So these people in Russia, they will have no problem spending all day making fake Facebook accounts and then just selling them on to people in the Western world who are internet marketers making money, sending out their fake stories. And one of the things that we learned to do, and the hot thing at the time, you're talking 2015, 2016, was hijacking news feeds and news stories and presenting news stories that really were just advertisements as news. And that's what we were doing. For instance, there was one at the time, and there was a little like item that you could put on your dog's collar that would sort of track its location. So you'd make a news story how somebody found their long lost dog using this device, and hey presto, you put your affiliate link at the bottom. Every time somebody buys this product, you're making $47 from your link. And that's how it happened. It wasn't Russian bots. It was internet marketers realizing that, oh, people are fucking stupid. The more ridiculous the story, the more they want to click it. That's why Pope endorses Trump went fucking viral around the world. It was internet marketers making money. And before you knew it, Rachel Maddow had spun this yarn that they were all working in cahoots and it was Russia. And I remember one of the Facebook groups that she said, oh, this is no, I knew the guy who run it. He was an internet marketer. What he realized was if you made Facebook groups back then, you could spam that group with as much fucking advertising and fake shit as possible to sell your stuff, especially if you had thousands of people who you could just ban whenever you wanted to, if ever they got, sniffy that you were a scammer. I knew these people. This is what it fucking was. It wasn't a Russian bot farm or anything like that changed anything. No, it was internet marketers hijacking a Facebook that didn't give a fuck. They had just changed their algorithm to come away from Google, and they had their own, basically internal search thing. So an internet marketer at the time when this first came out, I'm sorry to bore you with some technical stuff, but an internet marketer at the time would go to
this is anything but boring.
They would put in, they would put in fitness or lose weight in brackets in the Facebook search, press enter, press update in real time, and you could see any fucking post from anywhere around the world that somebody had put, I need to lose weight. So what do? You just say, hi, try this. Link to a ClickBank item worth $47, of which you get 75% of the money if they buy it. Hey, presto, it's a fucking business. That's what it was. It wasn't Russian bots. It was internet marketers making money from stupid people in the West who couldn't tell a fucking glaringly obvious, stupid story that was there to get a click, so you could either gain their email or sell them some shit or or get some AdSense clicks. It was that. It wasn't Russians. Nothing like it. It was total bollocks. The whole
sounds
Russian
like sedition, Gordon.
Nothing from thin air.
It sounds like an attack on our democracy.
Gordon, why do you hate freedom?
Yeah.
Guys,
we need to save our democracy here.
What's up, Juan?
I should mention that tomorrow is World Press Freedom Day.
Yeah.
And there will be quite a few activities around surrounding the Julian case, of course.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, because Anonymous Bites Back is going to be like live streaming for a giant chunk of the day as well. So I'll be on for that.
I think I've just gotten a message from them actually saying if I could participate at some point.
It sounds about Lubers. Yeah, it does. I told him that you were going to be on, and then like the next like 7 or 10 messages were us talking about doing the World Press Freedom Day live stream, because last year they had Anonymous Bites Back started off streaming our event and then went on with their own. We were fortunate enough to have like Ray McGovern, Cynthia McKinney, Elizabeth Voss, and Kevin Gostola for a panel. That was fantastic. And then ABB did their thing. And so this year, I think we're just trying to get whoever could show up, and if you could, man, that'd be great. We'd love to have you.
Yeah,
on. We're
definitely.
be talking to David
I mean,
McBride a little bit later today.
I'm feeling like this fucking World Press Freedom Day is a bummer to me. It's like fucking hell.
Yeah,
we're still gonna do this. We're going to celebrate press freedom. We're going to, say yes for the press and our freedom of speech. Bravo! We have press that are free. It just
we kind of need to just say there is no press freedom. Journalism's in Belmarsh prison right now. Journalism's in jail. We kind of need to do that. We kind of need to not celebrate world press freedom. We kind of need to just go, there is no world press freedom. It's in Belmarsh prison right now.
Yep. Yeah. I can't wait for
to boycott the motherfucker.
I can't wait for the photo op that's going to come from the POTUS account where it's like a really generic picture of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden walking through the White House lawn, like, happy Press Freedom Day. This administration is so committed to diversity, and we have made press freedom a priority.
Like Bacardi sellers and Hassan. Be like, look at how intersectional we are.
Oh my God! If they bring Mehdi Hassan bitch ass into this,
112 languages, we're crushing it right now. We are. And I agree. Like there should be staged fucking protests. Like I'm sorry, and personally, I'm sorry I didn't organize this. It's been kind of hectic. Promise we'll get to something, and we've got events coming up in June and July, and we're like straight the fuck up gonna try and put a tour together for August, September, something like that. Like I'm just doing stuff, but there should be fucking people in front of media outlets and government buildings all over the fucking planet tomorrow protesting the fact that it's World Press Freedom Day and press freedom is being tortured both psychologically and physically in solitary confinement, which is, torture. It's not World Press Freedom Day. The fuck?
Yep.
There won't be any protest.
But with that said, the Don't Extradite Assange campaign is going to be pushing out stuff, and they're going to have interesting guests. And I think, we have to, however bummed out I am about fucking having to participate, and do my best to speak out. And yeah.
I mean, sometimes like your best words come out when you're that bummed out. If you can fucking channel it into the right brand of passionate rage. Do you know what I mean? Like that can manifest in a lot of different ways, and I hope it does for you. I really do, because I think
one of the edits I've been on for some broadcasters and selling this fucking film has Matt Kennard at the end, and he goes, I don't think we have anything. I think we're already. It's too late, and then I don't want to end it like that, and he smiles and he says, we're fucked. And that's really how I feel when you were talking.
God, I want to talk to that guy.
When you were talking before about how fucked up the situation is, and we have 10 years more to go, I was like, yeah, I was getting up in the morning tomorrow with a little bit of perk, and yeah, I'm not entirely sure I will, but I'll try to do my best.
Aww.
It's so I know I get. Look, man, I'm glad. I'm glad I'm not glad that like that's where the reality of the situation is for you, but I'm glad we have an opportunity to talk about this shit. Like I am a swirling vortex of chaos and depression and fucking, all the kinds of shit that like the anxiety, everything that comes with someone fucking stupid enough to do this for a living while trying to be funny at it occasionally, all of that shit. And some of it, I can channel or manifest into something positive, you know, and I there's a process for it that I can't quite describe, but I know that it can be done. And so it is like my heathen's prayer, or what, which I guess only counts as a third of a real one. But like, so I'll do it 3 times. But like that, you know, it does fucking channel for you, because I've seen it work. I just watched Gordon go on an excellent fucking rant. And I know that, and that was brilliant, mate. That was brilliant. Holy crap, dude. Damn near fell out of the chair that I had to buy because I was jealous of yours. And fucking, I did. I sent him a fucking picture. Like,
it's true. It's true.
But like,
it's astounding. You know, 11 years ago, I was witnessing how, you know, the biggest leak in history was being made. And what came out of it was absolutely astonishing. It was so astonishing that, you know, it started a campaign of terror and demonization and torture towards one man. But that's not just one man. It's an entire group of people. The amount of people that have suffered throughout this process. I mean, we have to talk about Ola Binney. We have to talk about Jeremy Hammond and so many others that maybe are not in the spotlight, but that have suffered this fucking torture for the last 10 years because they're part of this massive attack on them for trying to just reveal the truth. It gets tiring. It gets fucking tiring.
Well, this month, I believe, is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I'm not one for jumping on these things usually, but mental health is something that I'm, you know, I've been through my own troubles, as most people have, and doing this, well, it's fucking so soul destroying. It's going to affect your mental health unless you are as strong as fuck. And I know that there are many people who have fallen along the wayside and been a victim of their mental health because of this. How can you not? I mean, think about it. If you are awake during these times and you are sort of aware of what's going semi on around in the world right now, and you're aware of how much you're being gaslit by the media, who are literally telling you, no, you're an idiot. You're crazy for thinking that. We're not doing a propaganda campaign in Syria. There's not a company called ARC that's all responsible. The BBC and Reuters aren't in it to actually promote their agenda in Western agenda in Russia
that's
at all.
Not actually Al-Nusra or Al-Qaeda that they're embedded with. That's not an actual head chopper.
That's the nice Al-Qaeda.
And brought on the fucking PBS front line.
He had a suit.
Al-Qaeda in Syria as, hey, look, I mean, what does terrorism really even mean at all? Like, yeah, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. The Great Reset. Well, that sounds like a crazy conspiracy, doesn't it? But don't worry, it's just a group of incredibly wealthy people who are meeting behind closed doors in secret to determine the outcome of future events.
But they fortify our elections.
But it's like, what the fuck? That when they put it right out there, they put it right out there. The emperor has no fucking clothes, none. They don't need to. Masks fucking off. You can't walk into a bank without a bandana over your face, but their fucking masks are off. And fucking when they show you, believe that shit. Believe that shit, and then organize and do something about it. Please, if you need help, hit me up, dude. Like, we got thoughts. We do.
No. I'm not depressed or anything like that. It's just like sometimes you feel like you're fighting for nothing, right?
Fuck yes, you do.
Yes.
It's a gigantic machine you're up against. That it's like, I was talking to the missus the other day, right? And it was only last night, and we were saying it's like a monkey playing chess against a grandmaster. They're fucking 100 moves ahead of you. You've got no idea what's coming next. Oh fuck, my queen's gone. How the fuck did he take that, the motherfucker? They are so far. It's true. It's fucking soul destroying. I know it. I get exactly what you're talking about. I really did.
Yeah. But we get up in the morning and we fucking fight again.
Exactly. You get up, you put a smile on your face, and you put one foot in front of the other, and you keep fucking going. If you're in hell, keep going. If you're going through hell, keep going. And that's all it is. And the way, you know what, the way I sort of, and I know this sounds a little bit touchy-feely one, but I've never met the guy, but I just think about Julian. And I think about however bad things are for us, and however difficult things are for us, and however hard it is for us to get up in the morning and put one foot in front of the other, think of Julian, or think of Stella, or you know. And
well, that's why I get up in the morning. That's literally why I get up in the morning.
Good on you.
Because my time, I dedicate full time to that, which is fucking great, right? I can actually feed myself and do that. But you get World Press fucking Freedom Day, and all you want to do is shove it down the toilet. There's going to be Amnesty International and all the others, now for Assange, but they still haven't made him a prisoner of conscience. What the fuck?
No.
You're going to get a tweet from Bernie Sanders that's like, this World Press Freedom Day, we need to take a stand for Navalny.
Yeah.
Navalny.
Yeah, let's figure out who the West's new puppets are, and let's draw attention to the fact that they might be incarcerated because of political means, while ignoring the fact that currently the United States is seeking international jurisdiction over the press through the torture and persecution of a publisher and journalist. Like, that's upside down. It's so upside down that the only way you can respond to it, I think, is to try and like just be as absurd about it as humanly fucking possible. There has to be an absurd response to such an absurd fucking situation.
I disagree. I think if you actually respond with the truth, that's more absurd. If you respond, hold on a minute, just think about it. Think about this.
Yeah, no, I agree.
On World Press Freedom Day, think about it. Gordon. I receive information that I prove is true from a whistleblower. A source comes to me in the UK. My own court has ruled with the Assange thing. The only thing that stops me being extradited to them for committing espionage against America, a country I wasn't born in, I got no affiliation to, but because I released that information, they could reach in, pluck me, and take me out. And a UK court ruled in January that the only thing stopping them doing that, is their own fucking disgusting prison system. That's absurd, as absurd as it fucking gets.
Yeah. Well, that and the fact that you might be smart enough to kill yourself if you were determined to do so. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, if you were a little bit dumber, we could justify extraditing you.
Sideways, like a broom. Oh.
I mean, it reminds me of...
I'm taking Gordon, mate.
So you are right, but you also agreed with me. And I want to let you know why. I want to let you know why. Because at every event that we've done, where we've tried to be a little bit more absurd, we lead with the actual statements of facts surrounding the case. There's always and only the reality of what's being done, and the reality of what's being done is so fucking like evilly cartoonish.
How many days incarcerated?
You're right. The truth is the only response, but the way that you have to go about presenting the truth unfortunately, needs to be a little bit more elaborate than simply showing up with a megaphone. The 500,000 people in the streets in London, nobody fucking covers it except for a couple of people with cell phone cams. Paris, yesterday, May Day. Absolute fucking madness. You saw some of it on social media, again, through some cell phone cameras, but no, it's not like it was a headline on anybody's broadcast on their, even giant independent platform. Like if who was it? Derek Rose.
Well, it'd be really a bit ridiculous for the state apparatus to report on protests because they are annoying and they shouldn't happen and should be illegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if one protester in Venezuela showed up and farted, you'd certainly fucking hear about that over here, wouldn't you? Hey, China turned up and fucking had a bit. There was 12 people in China protesting. Fuck me, the BBC 24/7.
Headlines over Juan Guaido trying to climb over a fence.
Jesus Christ. And the thing is, they cheered that on, and then the exact same fucking thing happened on January 6th, and they're going, oh my God, how this isn't America. Dude, you literally just cheered it on a year ago.
I was
the
there.
Absurdity is there.
I was on the ground for that. And when I saw what was going on at the Capitol, I looked at Andrew and we were like, wow, this is a real-time false flag. This is fucking crazy. Holy crap. We're going to see brand new domestic terrorist legislation. Yeah. Holy crap. We're going to see an explosion of surveillance. Holy crap. And then what, not 2 months and a week later, on St. Patrick's Day, we're back in DC. We're standing in front of Fox, NBC, those buildings, which is literally 50 yards from the parking lot of the Capitol building. And there was chain link fence, fucking concrete blast walls. I mean, seriously, 50 yards from us. And then
freedom, that is, mate. Yeah. Freedom.
Yeah, but we're not falling behind in the UK. I mean, protests are being made illegal because they're annoying. And then we have the Snoopers Charter that was passed a few years ago, which makes internet service providers record all your data for at least a year. And now the Home Office is trying to get an API so that they can put all that information and analyze it real time. And there's no talk about it. There is absolutely no. You know what the interesting thing is? That you don't need a warrant for that information. You could be from the NHS and get that. You can be from the Parks Authority and get someone's browsing history.
Yep. We just found out that the U.S. Post Office has its own fucking covert division.
It's got its own TV show, hasn't it? Like NCIS. It's got its own TV show.
Not the Post Office, though. Those are Navy cops or some shit like that.
Yeah,
that was like the longest running propaganda show, 25 years on the air of nothing but the United States military is a force for good in the world. Anything that we do that's shady, the bad guys did it because it's good people making hard choices. And like
number one show in America, mate.
Yeah.
For years.
And I wanted to go back to what Juan was saying real quick about criminalizing protests, because I don't think people realize how absolutely dumb it is. Because it's like, oh, well, the protest is too noisy. It's disturbing the people. What?
It's ingenious.
It's a protest.
Yeah,
if you think about it in the eyes of the authoritarians that rule us nowadays and that consider us enemies, it's fucking ingenious. in a very British way, right? Annoying.
Yeah.
Well,
In Florida, they legalize people running over protesters because it's like, oh, well, they're blocking the roadways without our permission. Yeah, it's a protest, not a parade, you dipshit. Oh, well, where's your permit? My permit is the fucking Constitution, you dipshit. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, why? It's a protest, not a parade. We're not having a parade. We're not having a march. We are having a protest. It's supposed to be like that, you fucking idiots. And if that makes you uncomfortable, here, I have some self-serving boots for you. Would you like the medium or well done?
Wait. I mean, I got one of these, and then I have one of these too.
And then I have two of those too.
Rory's got two. It's like, I mean, we've got no friends too. They've got two of those as well. And, you know, we'll pull them together.
When this bill, they brought this bill out, I think about 6 weeks ago, that they wanted to bring it through, and this they're calling it the policing bill, the police powers bill, or something like that.
Yeah,
you know, it's the protest bill that we know. The text actually looks at. See, when it happened, I was that enraged by it. I don't do this very often, but I sent my MP a letter. I was like, "You've got to stop. You can't vote on this." And they responded with, This bill does not limit your ability to protest. This is what she said. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the text. The text says a protester is causing an offence that can be punishable by up to 10 years if he causes something that is a, quote, serious annoyance to a member of the public. And I'm like, if that isn't a limitation to protest, I don't know what the fuck is. You really need to come back with something a little bit better than that. And the response I got, I'm not shitting you, can prove this, I've got the email, was, yeah, well, I understand that, but some people couldn't get to work because of the Extinction Rebellion last year, and I couldn't get to the office. Honestly, that's the fucking
point, you fucking numpty.
The point.
I swear that's what we're fucking up against. These people, these 650 people. Look at Boris Johnson. I bet the guy was 27 before he learned to tie his shoes. The guy is just a buffoon. He's just born into opulence. He's born into, you know, just that lifestyle. Look at the 650 there. Look at their backgrounds. The only people from working class backgrounds, like Chris Williamson, they were rejected for being a, quote, fucking racist. It's these 650 people, which we keep voting in time after time after time and giving them all their power. They're the most stupid, entitled, privileged people that you could possibly get. These are not the cream of the crop. Who was it that said the mere fact that if you want to be a politician should disqualify you for life from being one? There's got to be a better way than giving these 650 twats all the power. There's got to be.
Bill Benny said pick him out.
I can give you a jar, Steve. I can give you a jar that big, right? And say how many marbles are in that jar, and you will be fucking miles off. Right? But if I show that jar 10,000 people and get 10,000 people to hazard a guess, I'll get within one fucking fraction of a percent. It'll be that accurate. It's fucking scientific. Why can we not build a government like that? Wouldn't we actually have a society then that actually worked for everybody instead of just these 650 rich twats and their mates?
No, that doesn't sound good for the stock market.
Yeah, that's not good for business.
Yeah, this common sense.
And by the way, at the same time that they were passing this policing bill, they were also passing another bill that allowed policemen or law enforcement authorities to commit crimes, but they wouldn't tell you what crimes they can commit because that's national security.
Oh, it goes all the way to like. What is it? The company that checks the quality of meat, and the UK version of the post, like the post office, and what you're allowed to do in the name of national security, which includes anything that would interfere or interrupt the flow of commerce in the UK, is rape, murder, and torture. Like, you're allowed to do that per the legislation. We did a big thing on the vigil about it. Like, we went through all of it. We went through the fucking legislation that it was based off of, that was written in like 2002. Yeah.
They've done a U-turn on some of that yesterday.
Oh, good.
What did they?
They've U-turned on actually quite a
good.
I think a bit of what you said, at least.
Good.
I don't know the details of it, but I'm pretty sure now if they fuck you and make you pregnant and then leave you to carry the baby, they can't do that anymore. But I think that's the way it works.
That's progress.
So that's a win.
You need to be okay.
I don't know. I've got to read it. I'll get a little bit up to date on it. But I think they have done a U-turn and took a lot of the draconian shit that you mentioned out of it, and that's only because public pressure. So yeah. Well,
and I'm gonna guess a huge fight with for that legislation to occur on behalf of Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, right?
Yeah, he did so much. First of all, he was going to abstain. He was that angry that he was going to abstain and get the whole Labour Party to just abstain, because then the Tories would get it through unobjected. Now, he did that, and then after that, he said, "No, we're going to vehemently oppose it, vehemently," and they lost by about 80 votes because they knew, because they were shit in the 2019 election, and the people who actually that. And he did his best.
It's a hard job. It's a hard job.
I am really inspired by the robust opposition put forth by everybody's favorite intelligence asset, Keir Starmer.
We really would just be screaming if it weren't for the jokes. We really would. So
journalists, I shit you not, go and look at it. Journalists in the UK right now are telling the public that Joe Biden's policies are so progressive, Keir Starmer needs to look at them and model the Labour Party on them. Honestly, these are proper journalists in the UK who were saying Joe Biden's who Keir Starmer needs to model himself on to win back the left.
You know what? I think I'm going to become a McCarthyist Republican, because that's actually a lot better.
Bro, Marcus Rashford puts up a better opposition to the fucking Tory party and Boris Johnson than the entirety of the Labour Party.
At this point, I think Marcus Rashford is the opposition in this country. I think that's it. I'm quite happy, actually, that Man United game was called off, because you might be able to go in and sort this bill out tomorrow. I don't know. They've postponed the match now. So come on, Marcus, do your thing.
Yeah. You're our only hope now.
I want to shift gears a little bit into something like equally yet entirely differently horrifying. This is a study that just came out. Oh, I guess what, two days
ago. Is this
ago.
A feel-good story then?
Yeah.
This is the story that you end of the news. It's like, oh, and a cat got stuck up a tree.
So the American Heart Association, in a study commissioned by the National Institute of Health and a number of other large, well-funded, mainstream medical agencies and associations and whatnot, they took a good hard look at exactly what the spike protein in the coronavirus does.
This is fun.
Real quick, before you keep going, I just want to really quick bring up something that Allison Mason said in the Rockfin chat. She said, at the home office yesterday, the cops wouldn't let us on the grass because of the XR dig up. They need to protect the grass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Much love, Allie.
Yeah.
Scientists have known for a while that SARS-CoV-2's distinctive spike proteins help the virus infect its host by latching onto healthy cells. Now, a major new study shows they also play a key role in the disease itself. The paper in Circulation Research, which is the American Heart Association's journal, shows conclusively that COVID-19 is a vascular disease, not a respiratory disease, a vascular disease, demonstrating exactly how the SARS-CoV-2 virus damages and attacks the vascular system on a cellular level. The findings help explain COVID-19's wide variety of seemingly unconnected complications and could open the door for new research into more effective therapies. So here's where the record skips a little bit.
There's a lot of qualifiers. There's a lot of qualifiers in there. There's a lot of mights and coulds.
Well, that's the article doing the qualifiers, but no, not really, because there's not. Shows conclusively that COVID-19 is a vascular disease, demonstrating exactly how the virus damages and attacks the vascular system on a cellular level. Findings explain the wide variety of seemingly unconnected complications. Where the first could shows up after all of those conclusively and demonstrating exactly hows, where the first could shows up is in terms of opening the door for new research. Now, the entire time has been diagnosed as a respiratory illness. The mRNA vaccines specifically were created to make trillions and trillions of spike proteins, which this study is saying are the thing that attacks your vascular system, is the spike proteins.
Okay, explain what the vascular system is then, because I haven't got a fucking clue. I'm not a doctor.
Veins in the heart, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're saying now that the coronavirus is a heart disease rather than a
vascular. I'll try and give the what I would need, which would be like the dumb guy explanation of it. It's your circulatory system.
Okay.
The vessels that carry blood throughout your body.
Okay.
So yes, to your heart, but also to your lungs and everywhere else. So essentially, this means that the mRNA vaccines would make you overproduce the thing that attacks your vascular system, not.
Well, if it's your vascular system, are you talking about white blood cells? Are you that fight off infection? Because if that's a vascular system, then that's what that would be.
Well, it would be. I don't, man.
Exactly. This is whenever I get into this situation and I start asking questions, people go.
So here's the thing, because I don't know what they classify white blood cells as. I don't know if white blood cells are classified as part of your vasculatory system writ large, or if it's part of your immune system. But here's the thing. Going back to this a little bit, while the findings themselves aren't entirely a surprise, the paper provides clear information and a detailed explanation of the mechanism through which the protein damages vascular cells for the first time. There's been a growing consensus that SARS-CoV-2 affects the vascular system, but exactly how it did so is not understood. Similarly, scientists studying other coronaviruses have long suspected that the spike protein contributed to damaging vascular and endothelial cells, but this is the first time the process has been documented.
They're going to have real fucking problems with this vaccine, man. They're already having problems with it because they've rushed it out. Let's face it; they're still finding. You're saying now that they're finding that it's something else, and it's. They've rushed this vaccine out.
Well, they pushed out what they knew was an experimental drug. They pushed it out without informed consent,
and they've done that before.
And here's the thing that really fucking bugs me is that people are now used to the concept of emergency authorization without full study for a thing that has qualified immunity is acceptable, because vaccines have qualified immunity. And you cannot sue if you are damaged. You cannot sue if your loved one died. And that's written into the extra immunity was written into the legislation when it passed in 2019 about this.
And meanwhile, they're doing all this. They've rushed it all out. At the same time, how many things do we know that they fucking lied about? I don't know, in the last 5 years.
Well, not to mention we've got everyone under the sun who suddenly forgot that maybe Big Pharma doesn't have your best interest in heart.
Yeah, and the other half, that's half of America.
Come on, you can't say that. I mean, AstraZeneca just pushed out a press release that Reuters printed literally, word by word, as if it were news, saying that they would not take any profit during the pandemic. They are good guys. You have to believe them.
Because they'd never lie, would they, Juan?
No, not at all. No. I mean, the health of people is really in their best interest.
Yeah, it's not
their stockholders or anything like that, you know?
They've got a real problem. Yeah, right now I'm seeing real horrific scenes from India. Of people being burned on pyres and whatever. You don't know what to believe with the media because they lie about so much, but you see horrific scenes. And at the same time, I'm seeing stuff on social media of Indians in the middle of this, people dying apparently, going, yeah, it's not real. It's not around. I don't need oxygen. I'm all right. You can understand why people don't fucking believe them. These industries, the institutions and the governments that we are supposed to trust have been lying to us. They are the boy who cried wolf. And now they're screaming, oh, wolf, wolf, with the coronavirus at the top of their voices.
There's a trail of bodies. Everywhere Bill Gates goes, there's a trail of bodies.
And here's the thing. And you know what? I thought about this. Sorry, Steve. The fucking whole thing with Bill Gates. If Joe Rogan isn't an expert and he can't have an opinion, then neither the fuck can Bill Gates, okay?
Me and Bill Gates have the same medical degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For fuck's sake. Why is Bill Gates? I would trust Joe Rogan a million days before I trust Bill Gates on any fucking thing.
I don't trust anybody really any further than I can throw them. I make a few exceptions. I do believe I could probably huck Bill Gates a little bit further than Joe Rogan, but I do agree with you that in terms of like, I mean, dude, Glory's right, and Joe Rogan and Bill Gates have the exact same medical degree, but the main difference is like entire nations haven't kicked Joe Rogan out of them.
No.
Yeah.
And that's happened, as we know. Is it Africa?
I'm going to have to head out in a minute, but just wanted to touch on a little bit on David Morales's arrest, the UC Global owner, and who was in charge of the quote unquote security of the embassy whilst Julian was there up to 2018, and was secretly giving recordings of all his meetings and meetings with his lawyers and anything he could get across to the United States intelligence agencies. And his passport was removed about a year ago, probably, or when the case started. He was gutted. He was really gutted because I saw his interview with the judge and his questioning, and he was like, please, judge, don't take away my passport because that's my business, right? But what I find interesting right now is he's now tried to escape through Portugal, and he's been caught. He's now in Spain, probably with better bail conditions, and he probably has to sign every day or whatever. That sort of thing reminds me of Julian Assange in 2011. Yeah, he doesn't have the pressure of him being spied on. Maybe he does now that he's not useful for the CIA. They're spying on him to make sure he doesn't open his fucking mouth. But yeah, it's just there's parallels there that make you think, okay, you're not going to be politically persecuted as much as Julian Assange was, and the damage you're feeling right now is such a small fraction of what he's been feeling, and he's been going through for the last 10 years. You don't have media everywhere in the world attacking you every day, and how you look and how you eat, and if you have your nails dirty or not, and smeared shit in the walls, apparently.
I've got a story. I'll come back to that.
Yeah, so I just find it interesting that there are parallels now in between David Morales and the person he was spying on, when he was actually not under bail conditions, but enjoying the rights that a sovereign nation gave him for as an asylum seeker, because he was being persecuted politically by another nation. Yeah, it's just interesting, I think, to see him now in this situation, and I don't think there's a chance in hell he'll win this case. So there's going to be a lot more surprises to come.
How can he? I can't see how he can mount a defense against the case. It's
well, the only thing that he can do is not be able to show up and be cross-examined.
Yeah, and if he can win the case, why is he trying to skip the country?
Remember, it's not only him. There's also his second in command. I can't remember his first name, last name, Wallamack.
Yeah,
who is also being indicted.
Well, I don't know why they're not trying to indict or have Zohar extradited, the head of security for the Sands, who set this whole thing up.
Yes, that's very interesting. But it would jump a wall, hit a brick wall like it did with the woman who killed. Right.
Because in case people don't know this, the head of security for the Sands Casino that helped arrange the business relationship between the CIA and UC Global was himself, in fact, a CIA officer.
Yeah, 20 years in the CIA.
Yeah, and then he runs head of security.
And who knows how many in the Mossad as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, the guy's name is, I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Zohar.
Zohar Lahav, yes.
Zohar Lahav, that's right. First name Zohar, last name Lahav.
There has been
one of the most common names in South Carolina, Zohar Lahav. And also really common in Idaho and in Oklahoma. Just a good old-fashioned American name, which in no way, shape, or form would lead to any assumptions of a dual relationship, as his employee in the CIA kept him working with the Mossad. Nothing to it. Just a good old Yankee.
So, but you know that the court has asked to interview Zohar Lahav via digital, so he doesn't have to go to Spain to do his contributions. But the U.S. has denied this, and they have denied a lot of cooperation in the most simplest of issues, like, for example, identifying IP addresses. As I'm told by my sources, this procedure is so common with allied countries. It's kind of like a rubber stamp. A court sends the DOJ a bunch of IP addresses they want to know where the whereabouts of, and the DOJ will just simply hand them over. This is a cybercrime everyday occurrence. But in the case of UC Global, you have the United States blocking the case and asking the identities of the whistleblowers. if they want to, do you want to receive this information where these IP addresses came from? One of them has been identified as the Shadow Frontier Foundation, which provides security services and intelligence services with some sort of VPN service where they can hide their IPs and just use their that one. There's one in Hong Kong, as I believe, and then there's others in the United States. And the court just asked, as they should, what are these IP addresses? They were accessing information about Julian Assange in the United States. Who do they belong to? The DOJ refuses to cooperate. Sorry.
Like all people with nothing to hide do. These are the people who spy on everything that we do and have the gall to say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you shouldn't have anything to be afraid of and you have nothing to hide. And then as soon as you turn that lens on them and say, okay, well, can we see what you're up to? They're like, you're going to prison for the rest of your life, you fuck.
Yeah. But I mean, the same things happened in the UK. The UK is trying to extradite Anne Sekulas, who killed a 16-year-old boy in somewhere in the north of the country, I believe.
Yeah.
Harry Dunn, his name was Harry Dunn.
Yeah, and she was a CIA operative driving poorly on the wrong side of the road in the UK, and killed this kid. The foreign the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I helped her get out quickly, and now the State Department says that there's no way that they're going to extradite her.
As I understand it, she's been promoted.
No, she's been promoted.
I understand it. She was being the family of Harry Dunn. The family of Harry Dunn actually came out to America to try and sort this out, and Trump invited them into the White House.
Yeah.
When they're having the meeting, he said, "Yeah, I've got her in the next room. Do you want to speak to her?" Just
it's
sprung
absolutely
it on
astonishing.
murder.
The story gone.
And they're like, "No, of course we don't fucking meet her." And as I understand it, he gave her a promotion. Trump did.
Yeah. And Pompeo said, "There's no fucking way we'll extradite her."
Yeah,
This is a woman that killed a 16-year-old boy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Julian Assange is in prison trying to be extradited for what?
Well, he's in prison.
Information that made the world a better place.
But he embarrassed the United States and its allies.
And the thing is, Juan, you don't get how bad China and Russia are, okay? They're the bad people. Focus on that, and everything will be all right.
I've heard very unsettling things about Iran, and also Venezuela. And somehow, according to the Department of Homeland Security, American domestic terrorist hackers are going to crash the grid because Iran paid them to with China's money that they routed through Venezuela. That's how the American nationalist domestic terrorists are getting paid, by Chinese, Iranian, Venezuelan money. That's
Vladimir Putin personally shut off my power
Juan, you gotta get
in
out
the
of
middle
here.
of winter.
Yeah, I have to, but I just wanted to say, it kind of reminded me of the Iran-Contra situation, right? Iran learned from the United States about pushing drugs into the United States and then using them to pay the Contras to go into Nicaragua. Using the money to get weapons and, arm the fascists against a pretty mild left-wing government, who, by the way, succeeded.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Ukraine again.
No, it's Nicaragua.
No in Honduras.
Anyways, I better go, guys. It's great to see you.
We love you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gordon, you're mine. Don't forget that, Steve.
All yours, man.
It's great to
Am I
talk
in the
to you.
middle?
You're
You
gonna
guys-
have to take that up with Sleepy Josh, man. That's I had the
If you're gonna do this, it's gonna be naked in a pool with oil. It's gonna be on pay-per-view.
like
All
God
right.
intended.
That one I will accept a paywall for.
You're a great guy, Juan. Thanks for everything.
All right,
Thanks
man.
for what you do, for what you've done. Thank you.
Yeah,
Cheers.
much
You
love,
guys should
Juan.
Thank you,
connect,
guys.
too.
Bye-bye.
If you haven't already. I'll make sure that you guys connect if you haven't already. I'd love me some Juan Passarelli. I do. That guy's
He's a
fucking-
great guy. He really is.
Who doesn't?
I can't wait to see his film.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm really looking forward to it. I've met some fucking fantastic people. I know it's been a hard slog these last few years and what have you, but I've met some fantastic people. I was out in Piccadilly yesterday because there was a protest here for Kill the Bill. Sorry, not Piccadilly, Trafalgar Square. And obviously the press didn't cover it again. And I don't think any police officers got hurt by rushing into a crowd of people for no fucking reason this time, so they didn't report on that either. But yeah, I went there, and right in the middle of Trafalgar Square is Emmy and all the guys from the Assange crew, and they're all doing their best, and then they go and there's other people out elsewhere in London, marching, and they really are fantastic people, all of them. I'm so privileged to have met them, and I can't wait till I meet some of you guys over in there. I've met Taylor, I think, and but I in person, and a couple of people, but I can't wait to meet you. And I've met
my
my
wings have been clipped. My passport is in
yeah.
has
Your
been
flight
since
was done.
it was supposed to come out in with Taylor in February of last year. And I mean, I've said this before, and I do mean it. Like, if I really want to leave, I will, but it's only gonna get to be the one time, and I don't really get to tell a lot of people where that is. But
But you're not going to be in then. That's what you're saying.
But Gordon, Slow News Day Commune is becoming a reality, and there will be multiple locations, hopefully, over the years if this is successful.
Well,
But,
hopefully,
if you can travel, you can, you'll be able to find me in the woods in southern Humboldt County.
I'm pretty sure that I'll be on some fucking list in America by now. I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get detained at an airport, for fuck's sake. I had a letter from Julian. They're going to want to know all about it, aren't they? Glenn Greenwald's fucking husband just came into London on a flyover, and he got detained for about 8 hours. So, this is what, fuck knows if I'll ever come to America. I don't know. I think I'll be too scared to.
I mean, look, if it helps, if it helps, when like at least around here, everybody's as armed as the police. So
yeah.
Well, not in California.
Oh,
okay,
I don't
let's
know.
run with that then. Let's just run with that then, Jones.
Okay, not in some parts of California.
Yeah, no. Glory's right. There's no guns here.
Yeah. Keep it. Yeah, that's what you'd like them to
You're
believe.
so slick, Steve.
I mean, not here in this particular.
Oh, when I was, by the way, little story. When I was out at Trafalgar yesterday, and I was talking to the Assange people who were giving out leaflets in Trafalgar Square. This one lady, lovely lady, I've forgotten her name now. Name escapes me, but she joined to leaflet. Then they sent, how many, like there's about 8 of them. You know how many flyers they gave out? 3,500.
Woohoo!
3,500. And she was saying that she got very few negative comments. Most people were very interested and horrified when they found out about it. But the only negative comments were one saying he was a rapist. She put him right on that. And the other one that stuck, pardon the pun, was the smearing the shit on the walls. That's the other one. That we now know, as a result of Alan Duncan's diary that he published, was a planted story in the Daily Mail 3 days after he was dragged out of the embassy to, obviously curry public opinion, negative public opinion against him. We know now that that was a planted story. There's no pictures, no evidence that it was true. I suspect it was total bollocks. It was in the middle of an article that said these dishes were filthy. It's like, if you think those are filthy dishes, come and look at my fucking kitchen. There was a plate with a knife and fork on top with a cup in it. And we know how much they blew his cat out of proportion, but those are the two things that stuck: the shit on the walls and the guy saying that he was a rapist. And if that's all they've got, we're going to win this. It's just time.
Yeah, my hope is that there's enough actual time before free assembly doesn't exist anymore to where we can generate the proper response required because I agree this isn't going to happen because politicians step up and do the right thing, or that the UK justice system doesn't bend to the will of the Five Eyes. Like that I don't put my faith there. I would put more faith in people if they were able to get the information and retain it, because you are right. And it goes a little bit deeper than that, dude. It's not just those two lies. It's that the entire indictment against Julian, a third of it is fucking Luke Harding fan fiction. That's a third of it. And then a third of that, the next third is the testimony of two paid FBI informants, two hired infiltrator rats, who then have the distinction of being, like in Sabu's case, fucking open admitted fucking government operator, and looked to now as a consultant for matters of fucking cybersecurity. Or in Siggy's case, convicted pedophile, certified sociopath, convicted of embezzling, convicted of impersonating Julian Assange. That guy's testimony makes up part of that other third. And then the last third of it is fucking the arguments for why U.S. prisons were okay for Julian Assange, which is the one thing Vanessa Baraitser was like, yeah, no. Golly. Sorry. Can't, because of this. I can't, which is even crazy in and of itself, because the fucking prosecution was like, their argument was, compared to the shithole that Belmarsh is, American prisons are a goddamn hotel.
We have arts and crafts.
Color TV. It's a fucking Dire Straits song. The U.S. prison system is a fucking Dire Straits song, according to.
One mentioned USI Global as well. I mean, USI Global spied on all of his meetings with his lawyers. I mean, on behalf of the CIA.
Yeah, that was what they were getting paid for. Specific interest to focus on.
If that was any other case, anywhere, I think in the Western world, the judge would have thrown it out immediately. Is that correct?
That's why Ellsberg's case got thrown out.
Yeah.
So why not this one?
To a lesser degree, because it was Ellsberg's meetings with his shrink that got his case thrown out, not a direct order from the Central Intelligence Agency to tape and get video, if possible, of every meeting Julian Assange had with his attorneys. Primary objective. Secondary objective, collect everyone's information.
Because Judge Vanessa Baratzer cited a very comprehensive and informative CNN article.
CNN article, which to my knowledge has
debunk
never been used in a
Court case.
yeah, well,
In the most important case for press freedom in our time, the judge cites a fucking CNN article to
And the
debunk
Guardian.
CIA spying and violating someone's attorney-client privilege.
Yeah, in her summation, she cited the Guardian article by Luke Harding as well. I think it was by Luke Harding. You know, it was definitely a Guardian article. It's just kind of funny that they say, yeah, I mean, you know, and remember when they dragged him out of the embassy? I remember every politician in this fucking country standing up, every conservative politician standing up, and one after another I'm going, nobody is above the law. Well, he's clearly below the law then, isn't he? If he's not above the law, he's clearly below it, because he's committed no fucking crime in this country and he's been in a hellhole for 2 years. It's sad. It's sad. It's just really sad, and I wish more people knew it. There's a couple of good things happening though here. I don't know whether you know about the billboards that are going up in London.
No, we have a billboard campaign going on too that Misty's been running.
That's brilliant. I heard about that. I was speaking to a guy yesterday who's literally bought 5 billboards to go up in London, and hopefully there's going to be another 8 more going up at places around London, one of which I think is a really popular spot with like 1.4 million vehicles a week or something like that going past. So there's that. There's, you know, and there were other actions ongoing, and we just keep going.
Yeah. I mean,
something else. I was going to mention something else as well, and I forgot what it was. I smoke weed though. My memory's shit.
All right, man. We need to wind down in the next like 10 minutes or so too. We're gonna be on with Mark Lubers and David McBride here in about an hour. We'll do that for a little bit at 4 o'clock. I'll do that later. Gordon, my friend.
Love you guys, man. I love you guys. Thank you. Nice to meet you. It's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Let people know where they can find your stuff. Let people know how they can support you. Let people know what you got going on, please.
Go to gordondimmack.com. There you go. I'm on Rockfin now. YouTube can kiss my ass.
Hell yeah.
I still put stuff on YouTube, but I'm not going to be monetized by it at all. It's just so people can maybe see my videos that wouldn't normally.
We don't even turn on the monetization now, because when your video's demonetized, YouTube still makes money off of it. It's just you don't. So we haven't been doing that for a long. They demonetized every video for the last like year plus now anyway. So we killed our Patreon. We nuked that because of the way they've been going after people, not for misinformation, but for accurate information that may cause people to think, you know.
I'm really it's fucking sad when they started. There's a guy over here from Manchester, I've forgotten his goddamn name now, Sargon of something or other.
Oh god,
they kicked him off, and now he's one of these guys who inserts himself into arguments in the most provocative way. I think that's the best thing I could possibly say. I don't know the guy at all.
Incredibly diplomatic, yes.
Listen, he hates TYT, and that's good enough for me to say, but he's right about one thing. And they kicked him off Patreon for something he said somewhere fucking else.
Yeah.
He didn't even say it on Patreon. And what he said wasn't that. And as soon as they did that, I thought, well, the writing's on the wall here. And obviously the bleeding heart liberals were like, well, they're a private company. They can do what they want. I'm like, you fucking assholes. I can't wait for that to come around and bite you in the ass. And lo and behold, it happened. And a Kasparian on Jacobin, they censored us. Yeah, you fuck. We told you they were going to do it. Don't start. TYT, honestly. TYT. Have you seen, go to their Twitter feed. Look at how many likes they get on their videos on Twitter. I could literally fart and get more likes on my Twitter feed than they do on their videos now. They're like 6 days ago, 2 likes on a video that they post on Twitter. You know, they're done. And the reason they're done is because they lost trust. And the reason they lost trust is because they stopped being a news service and started being a propaganda outlet because they took $25 million fucking dollars.
Well, they're owned by that hedge fund now.
Yeah.
They're owned by that hedge fund.
So the hedge fund, like what? So the hedge fund are now making decisions as to editorial. Yeah, you can talk about that and you can't talk about that on the board. You just know that's the reason Jordan Chariton got fired, don't you?
Well,
you just know
look, the concept of the whole of progressives being a union buster. Like, I mean, come on, dude. No, so here's the thing, Gordon. The entire business model, the entire business model of TYT is unfortunately what far too many people in independent media have run with because it looked like it was successful, you know. And yeah, TYT's been artificially propped up for fucking 2 years now. Like they're just flatlining, hemorrhaging. Fucking, you're right, dude. They're fucking done.
Somehow,
connected to them. Everyone connected to them is done. And they're done for the exact same fucking reason, because you can look at it and go, that's cable news on the internet. These people have positioned themselves 1 degree away from the fucking mainstream, and they just wag their finger at establishment media and establishment politicians, but they don't interview fucking independent journalists. They don't fucking look at, like, I don't know, what's actually going on in the part of the world that they're trying to report on by having someone who has not left their house in like over a year fucking talking about like, oh, I'm an expert on this because I've read about it, you know? Like,
you just know some of those stories, they've only gone to Wikipedia and just looked at the fucking Wikipedia page before they've reported on it.
Dude, Wikipedia is rewriting the history of the Young Patriots organization to make it so that they fucking like dead ass did not have a fucking like Confederate flag right there on the wall next to the fucking American flag and then Black Panther flag. Like they didn't, like they just woke up one day and said, we're not going to be racist anymore. This has nothing to do with the work that Fred Hampton did for the last couple of years. We're just not now, because the left so desperately needs us to not talk to people who are different than us.
Yeah, well, you know, like people want me to believe that that every person in the hundreds of thousands of people at the Capitol on January 6th was a Nazi, white supremacist, racist, fascist, but a group that literally brandishes the Confederate flag. They're leftist organization.
Yeah, they're leftist organization. Yeah. Actual fucking Nazis are in Ukraine right now. Targeting an independent journalist, and you're going to hear that here on her channel. Hopefully the interview that she did with Dean gets picked up on RT, because this is pretty fucking, you know, important. They were talking about that this morning, that she was going to try and get it over to him. But like, you reach out to Eva Bartlett, Gordon, or Mark Sloboda if you've had him on. Because Dean and Eva were mentioning Mark as someone that they wanted to talk to as well. I
have reached out to Eva, and I don't think she had the time at the time. I'll reach out. I've got to get Vanessa back on the podcast as well to speak to her.
Oh yeah, she's coming on soon too, because she texted me some wild shit last night that fucking 3 Syrian military generals have told her to expect terror attacks in 3 weeks when they go to vote. So maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, either before or after we have Sky Daddy on, probably after, but we have Sky Daddy, we'll have Beely come on and update us on that, because this is fucking huge, dude. I mean, like the whole time the Beely's coming on now like every couple of weeks, just because of how the situation in Syria is becoming so fucking real on so many fronts.
Have you seen the queues for fuel? It's like 2 miles long.
Yeah.
Every station, they're like, you know, the electrics, 6 hours a day or something like that. They got lights and water and shit. It's like they're living in fucking Gaza.
Well, Ed, you're correct, Ed. Like it, I mean, cautious people who still would like to keep doing what they're doing are slowly getting out of Damascus right now. Like,
You know, sorry, carry on.
go no, that's all I'd be to say.
I've got to. One of the reasons I reached out to, but I've got to. I'll send her an email. Actually, as soon as I come off air, I've got to. I'll send her get contact. Right, yeah, please do. I've got to send her an email, because one of the facts that I found out just recently, actually, about Syria was before this all fucking started in 2011 and Timber Sycamore and what have you. And before it started, Syria was one of the most visited places in the world. It's one of the most visited countries in the world. The architecture and the history and the culture and everything, it goes back centuries. And, you know, it's amazing. Right in the middle of that whole area, there's this secular country where you could be a Christian and a Muslim. And, you know, it's just so sad that it's been turned into this absolute war zone. For what? For what have those people done to you? Those people are dying, and you don't give a shit. You use them on your propaganda videos for the White Helmets. You couldn't give a crap about human rights, you disgusting vermin. But they're used as pawns. This country was beautiful, and we fucking destroyed it.
The
Not
little
because
boy.
he was an evil dictator. We don't give a fuck about dictators.
Yeah.
Oh, he was persecuting Muslims. We don't give a fuck about Muslims. We did it for resources. We did it for a fucking pipeline and a gas and a... You know why we did it. We did it because capitalism, because we need more. And it's fucking disgusting. And we have to educate people, and we have to make people understand that this is going on in their name, with their money. This is why you haven't got Medicare for all. It goes on 800 military bases, more than that if they actually fessed up and told the truth around the world. You're sanctioning 36 different countries at the moment. That's the bottom 25% of the planet. The poorest 20% for what? Resources. Be it oil, be it poppies, be it whatever. I've got Danny Shearson coming on my podcast on Tuesday. I can't wait.
Love Dan.
Nice.
I want him to tell me all about Afghanistan, what it's like over there. Because I bet you, all I do is I go, right, okay, what's Afghanistan got? Heroin. What's American got?
Well, and also lithium. And some rare earth minerals.
I mean, like with Syria, their use of fucking children, like that little boy, I think his name is Omar, the one that you saw in posters everywhere in 2012, sitting in the little ambulance, all covered in debris. Hey, whatever happened to him? They literally ripped him out of the fucking degree, put him in a chair for a fucking photo op, and then forgot about him. The only people who followed up with him and his family were people like Vanessa and Eva, who were on the ground actually reporting on this and caring about the people. And those are the ones that BBC and Ukraine neo-Nazis are trying to get killed. It's like, are you serious? This is, it's insane. Fuck the world.
Fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. That's all. Just
everything.
All right. Well, I got a couple of things I got to take care of here real quick before the next thing. GordonDimmack.com. Gordon, I love you, brother. This does not happen often enough. But I guess it makes it extra special when it does. Glory Jones, what do you got?
Can't really think of anything right now. Just great show. It was awesome. 20 times, watched the Demon Slayer movie, and was on a panel with Franco. Clips are coming out now. It was dope.
Cool.
And Sheldon Adelson is dead. Just wanted to remind everyone.
Yes, come on, 2021. Don't be a little bitch. Take out Kissinger.
Kissinger's next.
You can do it.
We believe it.
Don't be a pussy, 2021. Don't be a pussy. Come on.
I'd never wish death on anyone. Hepatitis B. Scurvy. Thanks, guys. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Take care, brother.
Thanks for coming.
Please, folks, stick around for just a second. Let you know what's going on. Anonymous Fights Back will be live in like an hour-ish with Australian whistleblower Dave McBride. Coming up at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back on the Rockfin for the Sunday afternoon exclusive. We are going to do a deep dive into that, or as much of a deep dive into that study as possible. Hopefully somebody's got it mirrored and out now so that we can take a look at the actual study, because they want $35 for it for 24 hours. And if I have to, I will, but I'd rather pirate it because that's how we roll. And we have a lot of other news to go through. Boy, do we have a lot of other news to go through. Holy shit.
Oh, fuck, yeah. It's gone ballistic today, hasn't it? It's gone nuts.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Fucking hostages being released and prisoners released and billions being given to Iran and all sorts happening.
Oh, yeah. There's a story circulating right now that California is going to release 63,000 violent criminals like today.
I've read that story.
We need to get into that a little bit, because I know that there's people that watch the show that send me the thing and they're like, holy fuck, dude. And then I'm like, yeah, but you got to go 3 clicks down to get to the actual.
When you read the article and you go, oh, it's not that like that at all, is it?
Yeah. Glory has some updates on some deep sea mining stuff that, the fucking, just really, this is a thing. This is a thing. Deep sea mining.
Yeah.
So
shit to do it.
Yeah.
They're just going to go deeper. They won't be happy until they've hit the core of the earth.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of the people that's really invested in it is one Lockheed Martin. Yay!
Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Pacific. Sorry, Sleepy Josh. Eva Bartlett will be live on the show to let us know what this whole fucking shit show in the Ukraine is about. Let's see, Union of the Unwanted tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Those are fan-fucking-tastic. I never know who's going to be on until the day. And Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. The Twitter account known as Sky Daddy will be joining us on the program. That will be delightful. Do we have so much shit going on? Mark Steves from My Family Thinks I'm Crazy will be on Thursday. This is a great name for a podcast, dude. It is.
My family thinks I'm crazy. I love that. That's great.
Dude, we had a guy who's Deborah Gets. Have you heard of the Deborah Gets Red Pilled podcast?
No.
So we had them on. It's this guy and his mother-in-law, and his mother-in-law is like a Silicon Valley, San Francisco Bay Area neoliberal, and he brings just brain breakers on to fucking destroy her worldview. And it's like the woman's getting, and so they've been going for like almost a year now.
It's just so sweet too.
And
hey, Mom, what
delightful woman.
What do you believe, Mom? Kamala Harris is a centrist. Well, let me show you her record. I like that sort of thing. Lovely. That's good. That's brilliant. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Is she hobbyfied every week?
Yeah. And then for the first, I don't know, 9-10 months, she would go, the podcast would happen. And then a day or so would pass and she would watch MSNBC or CNN and it would all leak out. Or she would have a conversation with friends in the bubble. It'd just be like,
Deborah, how could you?
I'm going to check that out.
But she's coming around now. She's coming around. She's starting to come to terms with the fact that she's going to have to get all new friends.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, maybe.
But I mean,
yeah.
it's you know,
Take the blue pill. Take the blue pill.
It's such a great concept for a show. It is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Guys, I mean, we're gonna be starting a show on Aftermath FM soon. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. We do have to produce a unique show for them, but they're also going to pick up the Sunday morning live streams and broadcast those out. So much shit going on. Whatever, dude. I love you guys.
Man, you're making me sound like a right lazy git, so I better get my ass in gear.
And I am going to do the memory hold podcast. I am, dude. I love that idea. Running with it. Got a couple of people that I'm talking about on potentially collaborating on it, and people that want to come on as guests already. So that's definitely going to happen. Big thanks to Juan Passarelli, Gordon Dimmack, Sleepy Josh on the ones and twos. As always, my better than your co-host, Glory Jones. And everybody that's out there watch. Oh shit, dude! I fucking go run through the Rockfin tips real quick because I'm a fucking asshole and almost forgot.
I did my first Rockfin show last week. It was lovely, and I got tips as well, and I got that sent to me today. So thank you very much, everybody who tipped me on Rockfin last week. It was lovely.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Summer of 1970. Thank you very much, Carrie Black. Thank you. You guys probably don't know her. You should reach out to Dilyana. That's a name I'm going to have to copy and paste into the element chat.
Gaitan Djeva.
I think she's in Bulgaria. Her reporting is right up your alley. Okay, yeah, dude, definitely going in the element chat to look into. And then Tea Leaves, thank you. 3 Vax damaged women come forward. A link to Del Bigtree and the High Wire. Please go check that out. I saw that come across my Twitter feed this morning, and it's going in the queue of shit that I don't get to watch immediately, but will. Let's see, was there anything else? Because I just dropped that name into the chat. We're good there. All right, guys. Yeah, we'll be back here live shortly with Anonymous Bites Back. We'll be back live shortly after that with our Sunday afternoon Rockfin exclusive with way too much fucking news. Love you guys. Good luck to us all.